What if the person you trusted most simply vanished without a trace, without warning? The heart-wrenching fear of not knowing their fate becomes a haunting emptiness that taints every sunrise and shadowy night. Tonight, we peel back the layers of one of true crime's most chilling unsolved disappearances, promising a heart-stopping revelation you won't forget. In 2007, 6-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from her holiday apartment in Portugal, a case soaked in psychological torment and chilling uncertainty. We stand today facing the unresolved evidence, the disturbing gaps, and a global investigative audience desperate for answers. This is real footage of shattered lives, televised investigations, an entire world asking, where did she vanish? Every new lead in the McCann case felt like a glimpse into a criminal mind, both meticulous and enigmatic. From the forensics to the timeline that melts under scrutiny, the police and public have been locked in a decades-long dance with the unknown. And yet, a sliver of hidden truth remains buried somewhere, tantalizing and elusive. Across the Atlantic in 1971, D. Cooper executed the most daring unsolved FBI case of skyjacking. He exploded into our collective consciousness, vanished mid-air, and left behind a ransom of $200,000 in cash. Despite extensive FBI evidence including hijacker sketches, a release zone, and recovered ransom bills, the true identity, the real events, remained locked away in a vault of mystery. The world still wonders. Who was he, and where did he go? These are more than news headlines. They are chilling studies in human desperation, flawed systems, and vanishing traces. We will confront disturbing archival footage, FBI case files, financial audits, and witness statements that fracture belief. The psychological portrait that emerges is not fiction, it's the mind-bending reality of real criminals. Slipping through our grasp, by layering personal heartbreak with cold, documented fact, we ease into the heart of the horror. The parents of missing children, the investigators who spent careers chasing shadows, the cryptic cipher waiting to be decoded, all drive the tension higher. You'll feel every doubt, every scream that never made it to the recording. Imagine watching grainy bodycam footage of a crime scene, heart racing as an officer discovers a shredded ransom note, fragments floating across a floor. Each torn word pulses with meaning. Each viewer senses it differently, a vow, a threat, a confession. Tonight, we'll walk that floor, piece by piece, searching for truths in the scraps. Then there's the forensic twist, a single fiber under a victim's nail, a fingerprint on old tape, a hearsay that turned into a police tip. Decades-old cold cases have been cracked by microscopic evidence, cases once declared dead, simmering back to life under modern analysis. We stand at that precipice of discovery and dread. The tension tightens when a witness remembers a detail that reframes everything: an overlooked silhouette, a vehicle, a whisper in the hallway. In the McCann case, that minor detail by a neighbor reframed the timeline. In the Cooper case, a possible sighting along the Columbia River re-evaluated geography. Each memory can rewrite history, or bury hope further in confusion. Now, investigators are re-interviewing sources with new DNA tools, artificial intelligence-enhanced video restores, and financial tracing that can follow ransom money across continents. The boundaries between past and present blur. The case is alive again, and with it, renewed fear and anticipation. And then, just as we're about to breathe, we reach the moment that changes everything. The officer's body cam jolts as he steps into the dim hallway. Every creak of the floorboards feels amplified, the silence pressing in. Somewhere ahead, a door stands half open, its darkness almost breathing. On the floor, a pair of small shoes untouched for days become more than evidence. There, a silent scream. The body cam's lens lingers, and we're forced to stare, unable to look away. In real investigations, moments like this mark the shift from curiosity to dread. The McCann case had that turning point the night investigators first examined her bedroom. Nothing seemed violently disturbed, yet everything felt wrong. A forensic light sweeps the room, revealing faint handprints on the window frame. Not enough to match, not enough to convict, but enough to whisper that someone had been there, watching. In another case, the 2018 murder of Shanann Watts, bodycam footage recorded an officer's subtle realization. The cheerful suburban home was too quiet, too staged. Behind that silence was the psychological profile of a man preparing to erase his family. Investigators know the most chilling evidence often hides in plain sight. A smile in a suspect's interview, A single text message with odd timing. A neighbor's security camera showing a shadow where none should be. One frame of footage paused at the right second can dismantle an entire alibi. In Watt's case, a neighbor's surveillance revealed Chris Watts backing his truck into the garage, loading something. That something was everything. In both missing persons and homicide cases, these fragments build the truth piece by piece. They force us to accept that evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it walks in wearing everyday clothes. The body cam swings toward a desk drawer. Inside, scraps of paper with partial phone numbers, torn from a notebook. Each fragment is bagged, tagged, and sealed, awaiting analysis that could link them to a ransom, a meeting, or a coded message. And then, just as the officer turns to leave, the audio picks up something faint. A sound from beyond the half-open door. It's not the wind. It's breathing. The officer freezes, his gloved hand hovering above his holster. The bodycam microphone captures his own shallow breath. Every viewer feels that primal instinct: danger is close. Slowly, he pushes the door open. The beam of his flashlight slices through the dark, illuminating a corner no one wanted to see. A blanket lies crumpled, but it's moving. This moment, preserved forever on footage, is where viewers become unwilling witnesses. In the Watts investigation, bodycam footage captured these subtle discoveries, the kind you can't unsee, moments when truth begins to take shape. A figure emerges, a man, pale and trembling, hands bound loosely by torn fabric. He's alive, but barely. The officer calls for backup, voice low but urgent. In many real cases, such finds are the rare, miraculous turn-proof that someone survived. But the relief is fleeting. Every survivor carries the map to darker truths. He can barely speak, lips cracked, words rasping out in fragments. Basement. Not alone. It's enough to turn the investigation into a rescue mission. The officer's body cam tilts as he pivots toward the stairs, each creak now heavier. Behind him, paramedics rush to the man's side, their clipped commands echoing in the empty air. In true crime history, these transitions from crime scene to rescue scene often mark the critical shift in how evidence is collected. Every second counts. Every move has to be documented. The basement door is locked from the outside. The officer forces it open, splintering the frame. His flashlight beam lands on something that makes his breath catch. Two sets of eyes stare back at him from the dark. One blinks in fear, the other does not blink at all. The officer's flashlight shakes slightly as he steps forward. Dust particles drift in the beam, hanging like tiny ghosts in the stale air. The body cam records every second, each frame a piece of history in the making. The blinking eyes belong to a teenage girl, malnourished, bruised, but alive. She shrinks back into the shadows as the officer calls her name from the missing persons report. Her eyes widen at the sound of her own identity. Next to her, the second figure is still pale, motionless. The forensic team will later confirm what the officer already knew in that moment. This was not a rescue for both. This is the dual nature of true crime. Triumph and tragedy, bound together in the same room. One survivor to testify, one victim to mourn. The officer guides the girl out, his body cam catching her glance over her shoulder. That look, part terror, part relief, will haunt anyone who sees it. It's the look of someone who has seen the other side and returned. Upstairs, investigators spread through the home. In the kitchen, they find zip ties, duct tape, and a stack of missing persons flyers, some dating back more than a decade. The pattern of a predator laid bare. Later, digital forensics will uncover searches for other victims, escape routes, and police scanner frequencies. The suspect had studied cases like his own, learning from both the caught and the uncaught. This is where the psychological analysis comes in. Profilers, building a map of the criminal mind, tracing years of calculated behavior. The monster was not impulsive. He was patient. By the time the footage airs in court, the world will know the names, the dates, the exact moments when fate was decided. But the body cam's raw, unedited truth will remain the most haunting record of all. And as the final frame freezes a survivor's tear-streaked face, framed by the harsh glow of police lights, you're left with one unshakable question: how many more doors are still locked, with stories waiting behind them?